Vintage Touch family, welcome back. Today we're exploring how to avoid kitsch and elevate your home with timeless, chic vintage style. We'll focus on clarity, quality, and curation, so every piece feels purposeful and beautifully lived in. If you love elegant antiques, cozy farmhouse touches, or mid-century lines, this guide is your roadmap to effortless charm. Please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts below to support our warm senior community. Before we jump into colors, textures, and styling tricks, let's reframe vintage. It isn't about cramming every corner with old objects, it's about honoring craftsmanship, patina, and meaningful stories. We'll balance nostalgia with breathability, layering in light, proportion, and negative space so your rooms feel calm, collected, and confident rather than cluttered or costume-y. Across this episode, you'll learn how to identify and edit kitschy elements, invest in fewer better pieces, choose soothing heritage hues, and blend eras gracefully. We'll create focal points that sing, collections that feel intentional, and modern comforts that vanish into the background. Don't forget to subscribe, tap like, and tell me in the comments which room you're tackling first. I'm cheering you on. To truly embrace vintage decor without slipping into kitsch, we must first define what timeless means. Timeless style doesn't chase trends, it transcends them. It's about proportion, quality, and authenticity. Think of spaces that feel balanced, lived in, and quietly elegant. These interiors whisper history rather than shout nostalgia, allowing your personality to glow naturally. When you curate timeless decor, materials matter. Real wood, brass, linen, and stone hold their beauty because they age gracefully. Synthetic lookalikes may mimic the surface but not the soul. Each authentic piece, whether a solid oak chest or a hand-woven throw, adds a layer of truth to your space, giving it the serene confidence that defines enduring charm. Finally, remember that timelessness is about restraint. Choose what you love, but give each element room to breathe. Resist the urge to fill every surface or match every pattern. True elegance lies in balance, the harmony between visual interest and restful simplicity. When your home reflects that quiet rhythm, it feels complete, not crowded. Before you can elevate vintage decor, you must first identify and remove what cheapens the look. Kitsch often shows up as mass-produced vintage-inspired replicas, themed signs, novelty items, or overly literal nostalgia pieces. These items scream instead of whispering, and they flatten the emotional depth that true vintage brings to a home. Editing is not loss, it is refinement. A helpful rule: if an item tells no story, adds no craftsmanship, or exists solely to fill space, take it out. Replace quantity with clarity. Even cherished items can become noise when crowded together. Spread meaningful objects apart so each one earns its presence. Intentional breathing room is one of the fastest ways to elevate a room. Editing is also about removing performative vintage objects that parody the past instead of honoring it. Think faux rusted signs with slogans, cartoonish retro reproductions, or decor with artificial distressing. Real age, patina, and wear are subtle and restrained. Editing these cliches makes space for genuine materials, thoughtful silhouettes, and quiet sophistication. One of the clearest distinctions between chic vintage decor and kitsch is the commitment to quality. You don't need many pieces, you need the right ones. A single authentic walnut dresser with dovetail joinery will outshine a room full of MDF reproductions. Real craftsmanship holds emotional weight, visual stability, and long-term value. Choosing quality also means slowing down and collecting with intention. Let your home evolve. Wait for the right piece instead of filling space with placeholders. Vintage decor becomes chic when each object withstands scrutiny. When the closer you look, the better it gets. Quality reveals itself in weight, joinery, stitching, texture, and honest wear. Finally, remember that better doesn't always mean expensive. Thrift stores, estate sales, family inheritances, and flea markets are full of extraordinary pieces overlooked by the untrained eye. A well-made item with history, even chipped or imperfect, has more soul than something new pretending to be old. Choose fewer things, but choose them with care. Color is one of the fastest ways to make vintage decor feel elegant instead of kitschy. Timeless homes often rely on calm, grounded hues: creams, oat, mushroom, sage, muted blue, antique white, tobacco brown, soft blush. These tones allow antiques, patina, and textures to shine without competing for attention. When the palette is gentle, the room breathes. A balanced palette doesn't mean lifeless or bland. You can still layer florals, stripes, gingham, and toile, but choose muted versions or keep contrast soft so the patterns harmonize instead of shout. When colors share a similar undertone, even mixed eras feel cohesive. It's the unity of tone, not the uniformity of items, that creates elegance. Avoid loud novelty colors commonly used in retro-themed decor: neon reds, plastic turquoise, cartoon checkers, unless you're deliberately creating a bold moment. For most vintage homes aiming for quiet chic, elegance lives in restraint. A room can be rich, layered, and ornate, yet still soft on the eyes when color is thoughtfully controlled. One of the hallmarks of chic vintage decor is the ability to mix pieces from different eras without creating visual conflict. A Victorian sideboard can coexist beautifully with a mid-century chair and a farmhouse table, if the room is guided by proportion, palette, and material unity. Era mixing fails only when items compete rather than relate. To mix eras gracefully, look for shared characteristics instead of matching exact styles. For example, curved silhouettes across different decades create continuity. Likewise, wood tones that echo each other, even slightly, can bridge a century gap. When shape, tone, or texture overlaps, the eye reads harmony instead of chaos, and the mix feels curated, not random. Avoid theatrical staging that feels like a theme park of decades. Resist clustering all items from one era into a single corner. Blend them intentionally, one piece from each era per zone or per sightline. When distributed thoughtfully, differences feel intentional, layered, and collected over a lifetime, not staged in one weekend. Texture is the soul of vintage decor. It is what makes a room feel warm, tactile, and storied. Smooth modern surfaces alone can feel flat, but the introduction of aged wood, worn leather, nubby linen, plaster walls, or crazed ceramic instantly adds emotional depth. Texture gives vintage style dimension without needing excessive decor. Patina is not damage, it is evidence of life. A scratch on an antique table, the fading on an old rug, or the oxidation on brass adds humanity and truth. Artificial distressing rarely achieves this nuance. Authentic wear has irregularity and restraint, it is quiet, never theatrical. Patina should feel inherited, not manufactured. When styling with texture and patina, think contrast. Pair refined with raw, smooth with coarse, polished with worn. A sleek new sofa beside a cracked terracotta pot, or a crisp linen bedspread over an iron bed frame, makes the space feel alive. This friction of old and new is what makes vintage decor feel sophisticated instead of gimmicky. Even the most beautiful vintage piece will look wrong if the scale is off. A petite chair swallowed by a large room, or an oversized armoire crammed into a tight corner, disrupts visual harmony immediately. Chic vintage decor isn't only about what you choose but how it fits within the architectural envelope. Scale is silent, but it decides everything. When styling, step back and view the room as a whole. Large pieces should anchor and ground, smaller pieces should support, not compete. Leave space around heavy items so they read as intentional statements instead of accidental obstacles. Symmetry and asymmetry both work, as long as the visual weight is balanced across the room. Avoid oversizing accessories as well. A collection of giant fake antique clocks or exaggerated replicas often tips the room into kitsch territory. Instead, allow a mix of modestly scaled authentic accents to accompany one or two commanding, heirloom-grade pieces. Elegance happens when objects are in conversation with the room, not in conflict with it. A curated collection can transform a room from ordinary to soulful. But the key is meaning. Avoid simply displaying every inherited trinket or souvenir. Instead, select items that tell stories or reflect personal history. A few thoughtful objects arranged thoughtfully resonate far more than a crowded shelf of unrelated knickknacks. Grouping objects by color, material, or theme can reinforce cohesion while preserving individuality. For example, a set of brass candlesticks collected over time paired with an antique clock creates rhythm and harmony. Each item has a reason to exist within the room, contributing to a narrative that feels both curated and lived in. Remember, negative space is as important as the items themselves. A shelf or tabletop with breathing room allows each piece to shine and gives viewers' eyes a rest. Meaningful collections are not about quantity, they're about resonance, heritage, and creating visual poetry that enriches your home's story. Every well-designed vintage space needs a focal point, a feature that captures attention and organizes the room visually. This could be an ornate antique mirror, a bold upholstered chair, a hand-carved console, or an original painting. A signature piece sets the tone and invites exploration, while the rest of the decor complements without competing. When creating focal points, consider sightlines. A statement piece should be visible from multiple angles or upon entry. Pair it with subdued surroundings so it doesn't get lost. The balance between boldness and restraint ensures that the room feels curated rather than cluttered, and the focal point enhances. Finally, rotate or refresh your focal points periodically. Vintage decor evolves as you collect and live in your home. Swapping a large print for a different piece or repositioning a striking chair can rejuvenate a room without adding unnecessary items. Focal points keep the decor dynamic, intentional, and endlessly chic. While vintage charm is timeless, modern comforts ensure that your home is livable and inviting. Layer plush seating, ergonomic chairs, quality mattresses, or soft throws alongside antiques. The trick is integration. These modern touches should enhance rather than overpower. When done correctly, they provide practicality while maintaining an elegant, vintage aesthetic. Focus on subtlety. Choose modern materials and technologies that blend into the background. Muted fabrics, neutral electronics, sleek lighting fixtures, or discreet appliances. The goal is convenience without drawing attention. When the eye rests naturally on heritage pieces, modern elements serve function without diluting the curated story of the home. Additionally, combining modern comfort with vintage style creates tension that feels deliberate. A cozy sofa next to a mid-century coffee table or a contemporary rug beneath an antique desk invites exploration and touch. This blend of eras elevates your space, making it both timeless and utterly livable. Congratulations! You now have a roadmap to transform your home with timeless vintage elegance, avoiding kitsch while embracing personality, texture, and story. Remember, it's about quality over quantity, balance over clutter, and intentional curation over indiscriminate collection. Each piece should earn its place, contributing to harmony, charm, and authenticity. As you move forward, continue blending eras thoughtfully, layering textures and patina, balancing color palettes, and creating signature focal points. Allow modern comforts to coexist gracefully with heritage pieces. Your home is a living story, and the choices you make today shape the atmosphere, warmth, and soul for years to come. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your progress with our supportive community. Lastly, enjoy the process. Timeless vintage decor is not a race or a checklist, it's a lifelong journey of discovery, reflection, and expression. Celebrate the stories each object tells, the hands that crafted them, and the memories they inspire. With patience and care, your home will radiate effortless elegance and timeless sophistication.